Hey guys, welcome in. I hope you all are doing all right. My name is Brianna, and this is going to be hopefully a really quick, energetic astrological update as we are moving through the new moon in Cancer gateway. I suspect that this reading will be fairly short because there isn't much going on. I take that back. There is a lot going on in this energy, but I feel like I've done a pretty good job of covering the ongoings in previous readings, right? The last two readings, part one and part two, this is the key that unlocks everything. I feel like I did a really good job of talking about, breaking down the challenges, the obstacles, and the opportunities leading up to this new moon gateway. So if you haven't watched those videos, they're kind of like a series or like a prequel, the prequels that land us right here where we are at this new moon in Cancer gateway. It feels like an energetic checkpoint. What's happening here is that we are integrating, right? It's a period of or a process of integration. When we are integrating a new or a newly retrieved source of spiritual sustenance, right? It's like a power, a fuel, or like the nutrients. The nutrients we need to move forward. Could be like the water we need to nourish our manifestation. It's an energetic essence, right? An energetic essence that is of us, something that had been lost or locked away due to trauma or karma, right? We're integrating that. In the last readings, we are moving through the process of retrieving this essence, this key, right? Now we're integrating it, and this integration is going to be like dropping a final puzzle piece into this puzzle that we've been working on completing for a really long time, right? It's like dropping that final puzzle piece. It's the final essence. It's the final key that unlocks these higher dimensional experiences that are being offered or that are available through this new moon in Cancer gateway. So, whatever we are integrating in this energy, it's going to act as like, I think I said fuel, right? It's like the fuel to nurture our manifestation, and the manifestation is us, right? I feel like I've said it in previous readings. We are embodying star quality, right? We are activating our star energy. Our star energy is a frequency that we embody when we reach a point of self actualization, right? And in order to activate this star energy, we need all of our pieces, right? All of our essences. So past readings, we were working on retrieving these essences. This reading, we are integrating this final piece, this final key that ties everything together. We have the cosmic egg. The cosmic egg at the bottom of the deck. There are some other energies that have come out on the table, but I'm going to get to them, right? But right now, we are syncing up all of our colors, syncing up all of our energies. This could have something to do with aligning all of our chakras, like a Kundalini awakening, but I'm not necessarily getting that. I'm just getting like becoming whole, right? Self actualized. The energy, the frequency key that we are integrating, it may have something to do with like confidence, right? Confidence, contentment, feeling whole as a person, a sense of peace and emotional well being, right? We're not fractured or fragmented. Our confidence isn't locked away in the past due to trauma or karma. We're synced up, we're whole, and we're ready to move into higher dimensional experiences. Because this new moon is a Cancer new moon, these higher dimensional experiences may have something to do with divine comfort, right? Something that's going to make us feel emotionally stable and secure, maybe like emotionally happy and nourished, right? It could be divine stability or emotional stability. It could be divine abundance, an abundance of love, an abundance of nourishment, right? Whatever it is, it's like the water that waters our roots, right? That nourishes our roots so that we can grow stronger. Okay, so I want to spend some time talking about the new moon, right? Because we do have a new moon in Cancer. A new moon occurs when the moon and the sun make a conjunction. When the sun and the moon join together, the sun actually disappears the moon, right? So the sun, we talked about it in previous readings. The sun is going to be esoterically a representation of our true self, right? It's our ideal self. The moon is going to be a representation of old emotional programming, right? Core programming. So when the sun and the moon come together for a conjunction, sometimes it can manifest as like this face off between the ideal self, the version of self that we want to embody, and old emotional programming. So there's like this battle between the true self and the old self, the false self, right? The lower self. So when the sun and the moon come together, there may be like this choice or these choices that we have to make in order to detach from the lower self and be reborn into a new beginning, right? So a new moon is like a new emotional cycle. It's starting over with new, expanded awareness and new clarity, right? So because we have this new moon in Cancer, it's like we're getting a new start, a new emotional start. But what I'm actually getting is that we're starting fresh, not starting over. We're starting fresh. It's like when the race car drivers pull up to get like a pick me up. I don't really know the terms, but like in NASCAR racing, they like stop really quickly and then they get all of their stuff fixed real quick and then they can go like smoother, faster, or whatever. So it's like we're stopping a pit stop, we're getting refreshed, and then we can grow stronger, we can go faster, we can take off more powerfully, right? More potently. Okay, I want to pull just like an overall energy. I do have some cards already here out on the table, and I will talk about some of the challenges that we might be facing as we're moving through this new moon gateway, but let's just see what comes out with this deck. It's like an overall energy, Spirit. Overall energy. Transition. Okay, so we have transition at the bottom of the deck. Transition. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like death of an old self, death of a false self, and then the spiritual essence is rising, right? Rising to transition into some sort of, we have sacredness here. Sacredness. Hold on. Let me see, guys. So, guys, there are a couple of things that I'm getting with this sacred transition, right? Okay, so we have the transition card, death of an old self, death of a false self. We're retrieving this essence, right? This energetic essence, this core essence, composting the rest. Sacredness is giving like a major life transition. Transitioning into maybe like a higher dimension. We did talk about higher dimensional experiences, right? At the threshold, a sacrifice must be made. This sacrifice may have something to do with old emotional programming. We did talk about that, how when the sun and the moon are conjunct, then there's this face off between old emotional programming and sacredness, the ideal self, the sacred self. So I feel like something has to dissolve, right? As we're moving through this new moon gateway. There's a sense of trust. There's a sense of trust that may be required, right? Trust in self, trust in this process. We do have the Panther here. This was another one of the cards that came out originally. The Panther talks about annihilation of the unnecessary, but the Panther is really scary, right? It's like going back to previous readings as we were moving through this tunnel to retrieve this key in this dark, dark tunnel, like aspects of our shadows, traumas, fears, they were jumping out at us, right? To scare us. The Panther talks about facing our deepest, darkest fear. And the Panther scares us intentionally, right? It puts our fear in our face. So it's like facing our deepest, darkest fear, moving through it so that we can retrieve whatever is in this box here, whatever's been confined, right? So maybe as we're moving through this gateway, maybe there are still like these fears jumping out at us, right? Let me see the astrology real quick. All of my cards are falling. Okay, so we have the new moon in Cancer. Okay, so the sun conjunct the moon. So this conjunction of energy between the sun and the moon is also making a square to Saturn in Aries. That's probably what this energy is here, right? Saturn in Aries. Hold on one second. Here it is. Saturn in Aries is the Five of Wands. So it's like being confronted with challenge, adversity, opposition. So maybe as we're moving across, it feels like this integration, right? We're integrating these new or newly retrieved essences of ourselves, right? This integration is being challenged by Saturn. Saturn is the Lord of Karma and the ruler of the test. Whoops, I hit the camera stand. Saturn is the Lord of Karma and the ruler of the test. Saturn doesn't make it easy on us or easy for us, right? Saturn doesn't deal in emotion, right? Saturn is like a really strict father that says, stand up straight. Where do you need to establish order, right? What needs to take place or what needs to occur in order for you to emerge triumphant. So even as we are moving through this new moon gateway, we are being challenged by Saturn and Aries, or our integration is being challenged by Saturn and Aries, and this can manifest as like experiences, external experiences and situations that cause friction, right? Disturb your peace or make you feel like all hope is lost or like you can't win or something like that. So you guys, I feel like The opportunity is there, right? There is this opportunity for us to transition into like this. I'm feeling like it's a major life transition. It's a major life transition where an old karmic cycle is done, right? We don't have to learn the same lessons or experience the same experiences, right? Because now we are elevated and self actualized. Hopefully. Hopefully, some of us are, right? Okay, Spirit is saying that we're all on different timelines. Some of us are further ahead than others. Some of us are still moving through adversity or learning from adversity. Okay, so two things here. Okay, so as we move through this new moon gateway, I'm going to try to deliver this message in a way that lands with love, right? So, as we're moving through this new moon gateway, your character has to be stronger than old emotional programming, right? Your character, who you are right now, has to be stronger than fear. It has to be stronger than conflict, what's coming up against you, right? Your character has to be stronger than this, right? If not, then this experience will reveal your access points, your entry points. This experience will reveal where these energies have access to you, right? This experience will reveal the cracks in your foundation, right? And what you want to do is take a step back to solidify your foundation, right? Because you can't move forward with these cracks, weak points, entry points, access points in your foundation. If you need help, reach out to me, right? I can help you dissect certain areas of your birth chart so you know exactly where to focus, right? I feel like there has to be some sort of adjustment, right? Making adjustments, putting things right. Putting things right. Trusting this process, right? Trusting this process. And then, like, once you take care of that, then you catch up in the next cycle, right? You're not missing out on anything. You just catch up in the next cycle. And again, if you need help identifying where to focus, you can reach out to me. So others, for others, I feel like there is a severance occurring in this energy. A choice. You may be presented with a choice, right? A choice on which pathway to take, this way or that way. A choice that you make in this energy is going to sever an old cycle, right? It's a cord cutting. And then a new emotional cycle begins. We have the Ace of Cups, right? This is a clean cup to move forward with. It could have something to do with more emotional fuel, right? More emotional sustenance, stability that enables you to move forward powerfully, right? Make power moves. We have the Emperor here. This is like moving big energy. Okay, I'm going back to a reading that I did like maybe like 3 readings ago where the collective was receiving some sort of love. I called it love, but maybe it was just like this emotional essence, right? This confidence, this contentment, this wholeness, this sense of peace and well-being. In that reading, I talked about how this love energy, this frequency of love was going to enable the collective to create anything, right? Manifest anything. So I feel like this integration is enabling you to make big moves, right? Power moves. The Emperor moves big energy around on the chessboard. He is the creator of his own reality. And what we're creating, or we have the ability to make these big moves because we are embodying our star energy, this star frequency. Maybe this is like divine timing and like cosmic forces working in alignment with us, because we've worked so hard to reach this sense of wholeness, readiness, completion, self-actualization, realization, right? Now we're embodying this star energy. I'm seeing the lamb here. The lamb. Hold on, guys. It's like innocent as a lamb. This lamb energy is like a purified frequency. It's a very pure energy. It doesn't have anything to do with ego, right? The ego is dissolved, and now we are shape shifting, metamorphing into this star. The star is giving like, yes, alignment with soul purpose, divine purpose, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, and your aspirations, but it's also giving like manifesting destiny. Cosmic energies are working with you to manifest destiny because you've done the work to embody this frequency. There may be like a change in your physical appearance, right? When you embody this star energy, you become more attractive. Yes, like physically attractive, right? You're becoming the star, but this is also like energetically attractive. So it's like passing Saturn's test, and I'm also getting Neptunian energy, dissolving an aspect of your ego identity or your older self, your old self, your false self is dissolving, and now you're shape shifting into the star, sacredness. We also have the world here, which talks about completion. This is also Saturn energy, right? Some of us are completing a major cycle, right? A major karmic cycle is wrapping up in this energy. This karmic cycle may have had something to do with stagnation and poverty. Stagnation and poverty, poverty consciousness. Maybe you are transitioning into or transitioning out of stagnation and discomfort. So maybe you are completing a cycle where you had to wait, right? Learn from stagnation. Wait for integration. Maybe you're completing a cycle where you had to learn from discomfort and instability, and you're taking the steps, right? Maybe you don't have to do anything other than embody this essence, right? This highly attractive version of yourself, right? Confident, whole, content, peaceful. Also like innocent and pure, right? Innocent and pure, pure as a lamb. Ascended Master Jesus is coming through, which talks about like purifying the vessel. Ascended Master Jesus, maybe this is Ascended Master Jesus, right? Ascended Master Jesus was able to do the things that he was able to do because he was pure, right? He didn't hold grudges. He didn't hold resentment. He actually encouraged everyone to forgive and release, right? Not because he was naive or weak. It was a form of self-preservation, right? We can move big energy when our vessel is pure, right? When our vessel is pure, then we're actually trusted with more power. With more power. So, you guys, I feel like that's it. I'm seeing the eternal child here. The eternal child talks about freedom, eternal youth, happiness, comfort, joy, creativity, which is also tying back into this lamb energy. So maybe this sacredness that we're transitioning into has a lot to do with just freedom, right? Comfort, happiness, which goes back to Cancerian energy, right? The new moon in Cancer. Cancer is it rules our emotional foundation, right? Maybe our emotional foundation is becoming more pure, right? Cancer talks about like home comfort. When we think about it in terms of traditional astrology, it's the home, right? The foundation. So it's home comfort, feeling safe and secure inside of our home with our family and our loved ones. I feel like collectively we are at a crossroads, or just maybe at the threshold of the gates, right? The threshold of this gateway. Let's tie all of this energy together, right? We have the new moon in Cancer. The new moon in Cancer is where the sun and the moon meet for a conjunction, right? This conjunction can manifest as a face-off between old emotional programming and your true ideal self. At this gateway, we have an opportunity to integrate a new or newly retrieved source of spiritual sustenance, fuel, and nutrients, right? It's an energetic essence that completes the puzzle, right? This spiritual source of sustenance is feeling more and more like purity, emotional purity, right? The lamb and the eternal child. So it's like a sense of freedom, creativity, comfort, and joy, happiness, right? This love energy, I'm going to call it love. It's gifting us with the fuel to move forward powerfully and create big material change. We don't have to do anything outside of embodying this frequency, right? The star is a frequency. So this frequency is making us highly attractive, both externally and energetically, spiritually, right? So cosmic energies are working with us, fueling us so that we can create these big changes, these big material changes. The emperor talks about sitting on the throne from which you direct and command your reality. So your reality is shape shifting around you. Some of us, as we are at this gateway, we are being asked to face some fear, right? Some discomfort. Face a fear and make a choice. Face a fear and make a choice. This choice is going to help you sever a karmic cord, right? A cord that bound you to a karmic cycle, or maybe just a lower dimensional version of yourself. We are moving through some sort of transition, right? No matter where you are, which timeline you're on, we're moving through a transition where something old, something that is no longer useful, right? The Panther talks about annihilation of the unnecessary. Something that is no longer useful is dying off, decaying. We're detaching from that and we're taking what we need from it, right? The spiritual essence. This could be like our true self, a truer version of ourselves, a more pure version of ourselves, and we're transitioning into some sort of sacredness, right? Could be a sacred emotional frequency because we are dealing with the new moon in Cancer, right? For some of us, we are closing a cycle of stagnation and lack. I talked about this on my Twitter account or my X account yesterday. The last 4 years were about developing true character, uncovering true character, Saturn wanted to see who we would become when everything we relied on for comfort and stability was taken away, right? When everything you rely on comfort, when everything you rely on for comfort and stability is taken away, who do you become? Do you become victorious or do you become a victim, right? So the last 4 years, we may have lost a lot. It wasn't a punishment, it was more like a readjustment, right? Clearing away what was unnecessary, annihilating the unnecessary. The next 4 years is going to be about leading with the integrity, the truth that we work so hard to uncover in the previous cycle. So we're leading from this purified frequency. And right now in this energy, we are crossing the threshold into this new cycle where we can lead from this purified frequency. You may also find that everything that you lost or everything that was taken away is being returned and restored. It mostly has to do with your energy, right? Maybe you felt like you didn't have the energy, you were just barely making it, barely surviving, but your energy, your life force is returning. Maybe that's what this essence is, right? Your vital life force energy is returning, and that life force energy is what attracts everything, right? Okay, I wanted to make this reading short, but I don't know where I am in terms of time, but I am going to leave this reading here, you guys. I'm feeling a little tired. Like I need to rest. So I'm going to leave this reading here. I do hope that the messages that came through in this reading do help support you on your spiritual journey. If so, you guys, please be sure to like the video and leave a comment, even if the comment is just an emoji, right? Because your engagement and interaction, it does let YouTube know that these videos are helpful, and in turn helps the channel grow, right? I am seeing growth on the channel, and I am really proud and grateful for everyone who comments on the video. I can think of a few people: Fletcher, Bev. Those are the only 2 people that I can think of right now. There are a lot of new subscribers. Hello, welcome. My name is Brianna, and I use my awareness of cosmic energies to help you guys navigate your path and your spiritual journey towards this energy here, right? Star energy, your star frequency, your path and your purpose, your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations, right? But I think I'll be back in a couple of days to just give an energetic update on what's occurring at that time. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a good time, a good day, a good rest of the day, and I'll see you all on the next one. Ay, ay, ay.